Okay, for the person who wants some game day treats but isn't very good in the kitchen, I'm going to teach you how to make this, and guess what? It doesn't take any special skill to pull it off. It only takes 3 ingredients, and well, once you find out how it's done, you're going to be surprised. All right, folks, that looks good, doesn't it? Those are beautiful pastries, and they're not hard to make. Now here's the thing, okay? I know that there's a lot of folks out there that they're not good in the kitchen. In fact, I know there's people out there that can burn water on an electric range that isn't even plugged in, all right? I get it, all right? I get it that some folks just can't make it happen in the kitchen and don't necessarily want to try, but at the same time, you have some of those folks that also wouldn't mind having something neat and fresh coming out of the kitchen on game day that isn't a delivered pizza or pizza rolls that are heated from a box in your microwave or in a toaster oven. I mean, it's like, oh, really? We're gonna do this again? So I decided it's time to give everyone some really neat and super easy to make game day treats. So if you don't know anything about cooking, you're horrible in the kitchen, but you want something fresh and neat and new to show off to your friends with, this is it. It won't require any skill on your part. Guys, the ingredients are simple. We're working with 3 things today. All of them don't have to be prepared by you at all. All you have to do is just go to the store and buy these 3 items and assemble them the right way and bake it, okay? So we're going to be using a puff pastry. Now, so you'll know, since you're no good at cooking, all right? Your puff pastry, you're going to find it in the grocery store. Go to the freezer section. You know where they have the frozen pies and cakes and things like that? They're going to be right next to the empty pie shells, over on either on the right or left, or sometimes at the bottom of that freezer case. They're going to have a bunch of pie crusts that are empty. And right next to that, you're going to find things like puff pastry and phyllo dough and things like that. There's all kinds of neat stuff there for you to create with. So what you're going to do is pick up a package or 2 of the puff pastry. And you want the puff pastry sheets, solid sheets. That's what we're working with today. So you have your puff pastry, it's already pre-made, and it's good stuff. The next thing, pick up some cream cheese, okay? Don't get plain block of cream cheese. Get the stuff that's already sweetened and flavored. You pick out whatever flavor you want. Pick out some jam, all right? Let me show you what I'm using today. Okay, folks, we have what we need right here. I have my 2 sheets of puff pastry, preserves, some cream cheese that's all flavored. I chose to go with the blueberry. Now you choose whatever flavor you want to use. And the same way on the preserves. Go with any kind you want. Me, I like apricot, so I got apricot. All right, these come frozen. You can't use them when they're frozen, guys. You're gonna have to partially thaw them at least. You don't want them coming to room temperature though, no. When they start getting kind of soft, and you'll notice that, you can kind of fold them open, and at that point we want to start working them. We want to keep them really good and cold, but not cold frozen, okay? They need to be like refrigerator temperature, not frozen temperature. I have a baking sheet here with some parchment. You don't have to have either of these. If all you have is a piece of foil, this will work. This makes it a little easier. The parchment keeps it from sticking as much, and it allows you to, if it does stick, to lift the parchment and peel it off of that easily. Guys, it's been a little over 15 minutes now, and these are starting to get just a little bit flexible. You can feel that they're still frozen, all right, but they're just now getting to where they will kind of bend and move a little bit. You see here, that's easy. So that's kind of where we're looking at starting from. But here's the thing, see, I'm already getting it on my fingers. This stuff is sticky, all right? So what I want to do is fix it so I don't get that sticking to me or whatever I'm working with. So you'll know, since you don't cook well, you need to know a couple of little tricks. Trick number 1 is flour. Flour is the non-stick cousin of any pastry, all right? So you just take a little flour and rub it in your hands, and suddenly your pastry's not sticking to you, okay? Put a little bit of flour down on your board and get that rubbed around, and suddenly your pastry isn't sticking to the board that you're working with because it's got something to break that. And the thing of it is what you're using to keep from sticking is the same stuff that the pastry's made out of. All right, it's just that simple. It's made of a dough, a flour dough, that is layered with very thin layers of butter. That's all a puff pastry is. Now, let's take our first one. We'll lay them out here. I'm going to try to open this up. And when you do, you'll notice there's a piece of paper in there. You'll notice a line where the crease was, all right? We're actually going to be using those lines. That's a kind of a guideline for us. There we go. This is just now coming to the right temperature. So you will know this is actually a 1 foot by 1 foot sheet, all right? Approximately. Sometimes they can be slightly different sizes, but for the most part, that's it. You can use your knife to cut these if you'd like, but I really recommend that you use, if you've got one, a roller. Now this is a pasta roller, so I can make like ravioli or whatever, but the smooth cutting edge will work on not only ravioli, but it'll work on stuff like this. Also, if you have a pizza cutting wheel, perfect for working with this. It's the best thing under the sun for working with a puff pastry like this, or for that matter, pretty much any kind of pastry. Now guys, one thing that you want to know is to preheat that oven of yours to 400 degrees so that when you're finished making these, you can pop them right in the oven and get them baked up. 400 degrees, guys. Okay guys, this has come up in temperature and it is just about where I want it. So what I want to do now, like I said before, using my folding lines as kind of a guide, I'm going to use my roller to cut out some little strips. And I want these to be about even width, or as close to as possible. You know, not all things in life have to be perfect. All right, there we have it. Now we're going to turn these little squares into fantastic little pastries. What you got to do next, guys, this is not hard, all right? Don't shy away, don't be afraid of. I want to put my roller aside. I want to take my little square and fold it at an angle, so I have a little triangle, okay? Now, what I want to do with my triangle is I want to make two cuts, and I want one cut to be this way and another cut to be this way. So I'm running parallel to these sides, and I'm going to cut through the fold here. The important thing is where these cuts come together up here, you don't want them to touch, okay? So, we'll make a cut here. We'll bring this down. We'll do another cut up here. All right, you see how they do not touch. Now what we do is we simply take one side and fold it to where the cut line is on the other side. All right? Right there, just like that. And we take the other side, bring it over the top, and reverse that order. And what this gives us is a little puff pastry with two neat little tied ends and a center spot for us to put filling in. Now I want to take this and put it over on my baking sheet, and I will do all of my fillings over there. That way, a little easier to handle. So there it is, guys. You don't have to attach one side to the other or anything else because it's going to bake up just fine. So if you would, take each of yours, do the exact same thing. Now if yours is a bit too rectangle, we'll pull them out to a little more square. How you like that, huh? Yeah, pastry is really forgiving in that way, guys. When you're working with puff pastries or certain other types of pastries, they can be very, very forgiving, okay? They'll let you get away with a lot, in other words. Now, one thing you need to remember, work this kind of quick. Don't hem-haw around too much, and don't let this come up to room temperature, all right? If it starts getting too warm, just put it on a pan, put it in the refrigerator, and let it come to refrigerator temperature. In order for puff pastry to work right, when it hits the oven, it needs to be kind of cool. Now, the neat thing about what you're doing here, look, this is so simple, and yet when it comes out and it's all said and done, it's beautiful, it's elegant. It's something that you can really show off as, you know, hey, check out what I did. And, you know, people will be surprised at what you did, even though it really just wasn't, on the whole, so very tough. We have all of our little pastries set up. Now, we're just going to take a spoonful, and actually that one's a bit big. We're just going to take a little bit of our preserves and put them right down in the middle there. Our cream cheese version, we want to do the same exact thing. Just going to put that there. Putting a dollop in the middle of each of these. And then that's going to cook down, kind of cook out a little bit. That's kind of a big dollop I used right there, so it may cause me some problems. We'll see. So that will be really cool. You could even top this with other things like some extra fruit. If you wanted to take blueberries and add to the top of this that are fresh, or even for that matter frozen blueberries, that would work fine. Feel free to experiment like that. You can use any flavor of preserves or jam that you would like. Now guys, we have these all filled up. Let's go ahead and get them down in the oven. All right, guys, there in the oven. All we have to do is just wait for it to bake, and we're ready to serve, okay? Now think about that. You took some dough, cut it in a certain shape, put a dollop of jam or whatever you wanted on there, and put it in the oven. If you want a chocolate square in the middle, that'll work. There's all kinds of stuff you can put there, guys. It's just up to you what you want to be creative with. All right? Give it a try. This is a great way for you to get great tasting game treats. Now let's just wait for it to bake. 15 to 20 minutes, looking for those golden edges. Leave it alone otherwise. Guys, these are out of the oven, and what I'm doing right now is simply loosening them before anything else happens. Because some of them have sugar that cooked out of the edge, mostly these with the apricot jam. That happens, don't worry about it. But we don't want it sticking to that, okay? So we move them a little bit to prevent that from happening. This one stuck a little more. There we go. The nice thing about that paper is you can just peel it free. So there we have them, beautiful. All I have to do now, get these plated up for the party, and we're ready to go. All of our treats fixed up and beautiful. Let's take a close look at that. Man, those look nice. Hey guys, look at this. These are too cool. Let me pull up a couple of them here. Now look, I've got that blueberry, the blueberry, the apricot. Wonderful, wonderful goodies. Mm. Mm. What a treat. I guarantee you, you go serving this on game day, you're going to surprise everybody. Mm. Absolutely delicious. Two wonderful treats. This is going to be fun. I'm going to get the rest of these into my friends, and we're going to have a wonderful game day. Guys, thanks for watching. Hey, check out my other videos. There's some great tutorials on there, and they're perfect for folks that don't know anything about cooking. That's the whole idea. Check it out. Thanks for watching, and folks, have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, there it was, guys. Did that answer all of your questions on how to make that recipe? I certainly hope so. Hey, if you have any requests or questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the boxes down below. I do appreciate that, and I read those, believe it or not. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today. Folks, please share my videos. And again, thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today.